I'm the genuine successor. As I caught the cautious glances from my biological parents and the counterfeit air they were fiercely guarding, I instantly knew I had to find new folks to call my own. I approached my uncle and aunt, who didn't have any kids, and said, "I'd like to be your kid if you're down." Everyone was stunned when my aunt pulled me into a tight hug and said, "Good girl, my sweet daughter, mommy's little gem." Later on, my birth mom tried to snatch me back. She glanced at my new mom's belly with a sneering look and said, "Sister-in-law, you can't have kids, so obviously you don't get a mother's love. But you can't just grab someone else's child." I stood firm in front of my new mom and coldly responded, "Aunt, I'm my mom's kid," then pointed to a girl crying in the corner. "Your daughter's over there, waiting for your loving heart. I'm the real successor." I discovered my true heritage during math class while we were discussing sets. The teacher called me out with an indescribable look. With just a few words, they unraveled my strange background and introduced me to a couple named Helen. But before they could finish, I jumped in with bright eyes, already mastering the art of interrupting. "Mom and Dad, nice to meet you. Please take care of me," I said, flashing my biggest smile in an attempt to impress my biological parents. The couple in front of me were elegant, dressed modestly, yet stylishly, and the lady looked at me with tears and immense love. In that instant, I knew I, Lily, had found my true home. All those days I spent daydreaming suddenly became reality. I wasn't my parents' child. Seriously, what kind of parents play favorites like that? 2 eggs left, one for the older sister and one for the little brother. Can't they just scramble them or make egg drop soup? The middle daughter gets nothing. Since I was 4, I always pictured my real parents arriving in a pumpkin carriage to take me home. Now I've found them, and nothing's gonna stop me from chowing down on 10 eggs in one meal. My parents would totally spoil me. I was so pumped I let out a little squeal. "Good girl, you've been through a lot," the lady said, hugging me tightly. I blinked, feeling a bit teary. "Mom, I'm not suffering." Hearing that, Mom cried even harder. Dad, standing by, looked a bit teary too. I waved my little hand. "Dad, come here and join us for a hug. Our family is finally together." Dad straightened his tie, looking calm, but actually rushing over in 2 quick steps. I soaked in the warm embrace of family, grinning from ear to ear. Real parents are the best. "Aren't you Lily's uncle and aunt?" I suddenly widened my eyes, glancing at the class teacher who had asked. I frowned. I watched as the people I thought were my parents slowly let go, the warmth vanishing instantly. Their faces showed awkward embarrassment. "Lily, I'm your aunt, and this is your uncle. We're here to take you home today." I frowned deeply, almost biting my lip. So I mistook them for my real parents? Instead of a pumpkin carriage, it was my uncle's luxury car heading home. Only when I stepped into the grand house did I realize being the real successor meant being truly wealthy. My aunt gently held my hand as we walked step by step into the He family home. She pointed to a couple in the living room and said, "Lily, here are your mom and dad." I bit my lower lip uncertainly, looking at the man and woman opposite me and the girl about my age who hid behind them. The woman approached me with a smile. "Lily, I'm your mom. This is Dad and your sister Zoe. You two should get along well." She looked at me, expecting me to recognize them as my parents. I responded with a cold, The woman's brows furrowed. "Lily, good kids should be polite. Do you see your parents aren't happy?" I looked at her calmly, just like I did with my adoptive mother when she scolded me. Theodore chimed in, "The kid just came back. Let her rest and adjust." He walked over to my aunt, putting an arm around her shoulder and whispering a few words. I glanced up at him, a little annoyed. He wasn't my dad after all. My birth father started smoothing things over. "Big brother has a point. The child just returned after so many years away. Just guide her well from now on." I watched silently, feeling darkness envelop my hopes. Their reaction was too flat. No warm hugs, no tears of joy. It felt like I was just a guest, not the daughter they'd been missing for over a decade. When I first arrived, they looked me up and down, silently judging, like, could she really be our daughter? They kept that other girl safe behind them, already wary of me even though I hadn't done anything. It was like they expected I'd harm her. Using years of experience, I instantly grasped my situation. I understood why they hadn't come to get me themselves. They wanted to warn me, let me know I wasn't the only one here. Even if they took me back as their daughter, I had to get along with my sister. They were asserting their authority as parents, defending Zoe. I couldn't think of any other reason for their behavior that matched so closely with my adoptive parents, especially their looks. They were identical. To them, I was a trespasser in their family, likely to disrupt their harmony and periodically attack family members. Dream on if you think you can control me. It was our first meeting, so I might as well be direct. I decided to go on the offensive. I was planning to put on a show, but now it seemed unnecessary. I pointed my finger dramatically. Who is she? Is she my adoptive parents' biological daughter, the real Lily? The girl in the long dress, clearly pampered and spoiled, was visibly startled and hid behind someone else. My biological mom's expression changed instantly when she looked at me. I gave her a challenging look and firmly stated my demand. It's either her or me in this house. You choose. You didn't pick me up on the first day home because you were with your precious daughter. I guess blood's thicker than water. I sneered, shaking things up. Getting along with Zoe? No way. I'm not here to please anyone. Even if I didn't initially have anything against Zoe, I'm starting to dislike her now. Kids not getting along is a sign of bad parenting. What's wrong with you? My mom asked sternly. How did your parents raise you? Your hair looks like some tomboy. She blocked Zoe from my view, glaring at me like a lioness protecting her cub. I shot back. They raised me with beatings for disobedience and yelling if I talked back. Care to show me how you raised your daughter? She can't even greet her sister. I folded my arms, looking at her coldly. Expecting a girl who fights her way through life to grow long hair and wear pretty dresses? She's got to be kidding. One good hair pull and I'd be done for in a fight. They say I'm rude. They're the ones lacking manners. Who needs a lousy family like this? I hoped for better parents. But never mind. I'd rather have none. I turned and was ready to head back to school. I've got $200 saved up for expenses. No idea how much a ticket back costs. What a waste of time. Just as I muttered under my breath and walked off, someone spun me around and carried me back. This is your home. Where are you going? My uncle sat me down and patted my head gently. Stubborn as ever, I faced away. This isn't my home. I'm going back to school. I'm just starting high school. Studying is important. Don't waste my time. He firmly held my shoulders, preventing me from moving. Seeing me struggle, he lifted me off the ground. This is your home. Looking at the living room filled with indifferent biological parents and the frail crying girl they sheltered, my anger boiled over. It's not right for parents to abandon their kid. I held back tears, refusing to cry in front of these people who didn't love me. Tears are pointless, just show weakness. You've been spoiled outside. Without change, life won't be easy, my so-called dad said, shaking his head like I was some troublemaker. They brought me back just to crush my hopes. I thought I'd have loving parents, cherished like a precious jewel, but they're no different. They don't like me either. My adoptive parents didn't want me, and neither do my biological ones. Am I unworthy of loving parents? My mom bent over slightly in front of me. Lily, I'm not blaming you for today. I'm sorry, Mom. I shouldn't blame anyone, including Lily. We're both victims of a messed up fate. I understand your love for her and that you don't want to disrupt her life. She's innocent just as you said. Since I chose not to acknowledge my biological parents, I hope to find peace in a new family. Gathering courage, I turned to my aunt, my mom now, and said, maybe I could be part of your family. Aunt seemed surprised, but her embrace was warm. She called me her precious dear, giving me an indescribable sense of safety. There was no more hesitation. I was excited for a new family life and a fresh start. Uncle, whom I called Dad, although initially caught off guard, embraced me warmly at Aunt's urging. These feelings were genuine. It was the family love I'd longed for. In this new family, my life would be different. I'd receive new education and training, reshaping myself. Lily, things will get better. I'll strive toward the future, one step at a time. For now, I'm just a high school freshman, focused on studying hard to be the perfect child my parents want. I've always been smart, obedient to teachers. They say knowledge won't betray you. What you learn is yours. My best path is to study well. I'm content with my new school. Nobody knows my tough past here. I'm just a cheerful girl from a loving family. I go to school joyfully, hang out with classmates, quickly solve problems, and become loved by all. They shyly offer snacks, apologize for taking up my time, but helping them learn is me learning too. Yet, happiness fades when Zoe and some guy block my way to the car. Who'd have thought mom arranged a ride to school with two people? When the car door closed, my annoyance piled up, and I took a few steps back. Lily, don't leave. Hearing Zoe's voice annoyed me more. I kicked a little stone away. Didn't you hear Yo-Yo calling you? My arm was grabbed by the guy, and I clicked my tongue. Yeah, so what? Not my problem. I grabbed my phone, ready to call mom and complain. But this guy snatched it away. Taller than me, he held it up so I couldn't reach. I kicked his knee. The phone fell and smashed on the ground. His look wasn't friendly. I figured out who he was. Are you okay, bro? Zoe asked, rolling up his pants to check. But he stopped her. I'm fine, he said, trying to hide the pain. I raised an eyebrow, finding the brother-sister bond kinda irritating. Just get to the point and replace my phone, Chase said through clenched teeth. Mom and Dad want you home. What's up with you staying at Uncle's all the time? I know you've had it rough these years, but they've dealt with that family and paid them off. They won't bother you again. You can relax now. I barely held back the urge to kick him again. Relax, you say? Is it for my peace of mind or theirs? Or maybe your sister's? I've been ignored and snubbed since I got back, and they gave me nothing. Now they want me home? What a joke. Zoe's face turned red from my sarcasm. I didn't want any drama with her. I just wanted her to stay away from me. Seeing her ticked me off. Why does she get everything so good? I was jealous. She seemed to muster the courage. Lily, why didn't you go to that top school? Because you didn't want to see me. I glanced at her. Yeah, because of you, but here you are bothering me all the same. Annoying. She seemed on the verge of tears. Chase looked at me with frustration. But he cared for his sister. Don't be so harsh. We don't owe you anything. And I went off. Oh, so I owe you? Get lost. Don't appear in front of me. You're annoying. Yet Zoe wouldn't back off. If I leave, will it make you feel better? Her eyes were red. She seemed serious. I'll tell Mom and Dad. I'll leave and go back. I didn't react, but Chase exploded. It's not your problem. Why would you leave? You can't handle going back there. You'd get bullied. Oh, so he knows what it's like back there. Guess he's not that dumb. Lily, say something. I crossed my arms, watching their little drama. Go act this out at home. Don't perform in front of me. I'm not buying it. Still, same deal, where you are. I'm not putting up with any crap. I don't want favoritism from parents. Zoe started crying and Chase glared at me. I just saw it as his impotent rage. Watching Zoe cry annoyed me. I just wanted peace, not this endless complication. Things seem better this way. If she has issues, work them out herself. Don't drag me in. I dropped my defenses and said seriously, listen up, I'm only saying this once. I'm not going back to that house. Why would I choose a place full of misery? I'm no masochist or pushover. I've got feelings too. They've loved a daughter they raised for years. They don't love me. Their crude biological daughter, likewise, I don't love them. I'm not a puppy you can win over with scraps. I'm starved for love, but I won't take whatever they throw my way. If they want to give love, it should be genuine. I won't settle for anything less. I looked at Zoe, my gaze steady and words sharp. We won't get along. I really dislike you. If you want to stay or go, that's your business, not mine. So don't drag these messes to me again. I really don't like you, nor do I want to see you. I hadn't forgotten about Chase either, so I threw a dismissive glance at him too. And by the way, remember I'm your cousin, Lily. Next time, acknowledge me as such. Looking at this cowed sibling duo, I felt victorious. They were clueless. Even after I left, they kept reaching for me. Annoying. The first day I came home, they gave me suspicious looks. It was clear they'd never be my real parents, just a second uncle and aunt at best. Everyone has those superficial relatives, don't they? Zoe hesitated, tears streaming, and I got in the car, asking the driver to go. I didn't want to spend another second with them. Every second wasted my energy and life, but chasing away the young ones just brought the older ones in. What are they planning? Chasing a daughter who won't come back. I wouldn't return. Did they panic? They didn't value what they had until it was gone. How funny judging my second aunt's face. I saw through the facade. Love or lack of it is obvious. My mom's gaze was like looking at a treasure, full of pride. My daughter is so perfect, so amazing. I love her dearly. I want her happy every day. Yet, my second aunt's expression was scrutinizing and superior, using her status as my birth mom to assert control. Wasn't gonna work on me. I was raised through hardship, resilient, and stood up for myself. I've turned the family into a fearfully harmonious bunch, at least on the surface. I'm definitely not gonna bow my head and compromise just for some fake love from her. Not all parents love their children. My adoptive parents thought I was their own daughter back then, but they didn't love me at all, did they? If I were so easy to give in, I'd have ended up as my sister's tool, my parents' punching bag, and my brother's scapegoat at my adoptive home. It's funny, really. My older sister, who's also treated like a scapegoat, never really liked me and went even harder on me than my brother did. It's like my suffering highlighted how much my foster parents loved her. After I handled her a few times, she backed off. During the day, I couldn't stand her because my adoptive parents always sided with her. So I'd wait until night, sneak in, and cut her hair or ruin her dresses. They would yell and punish me without knowing the whole truth. So I'd sneak in at night and paint their faces with ink. You know what? If they didn't care about shame, neither did I. Hiding at home was just fine with me. Hitting or yelling didn't work on me. I was never one to listen or conform. I hate being obedient and mature. Those words mean being bullied, oppressed, and making endless sacrifices. Just like my neighbor, who dropped out of middle school to work and save for her brother's tuition. Her life's so predictable. Yet she'd still talk with this sense of happiness. Lily, you don't understand. Being the eldest sister is like being a mother. It's what I should do. If I ever get rich, marry a wealthy guy, I definitely want my brother to have a big house and my parents to live comfortably. She barely had enough to eat yet was committed to sacrificing herself for her brother. I despise that kind of greatness. It's like favoring boys over girls, is etched into some people's brains deeply. Being the second daughter is like a curse. You gotta be sensible, give, and please everyone. It's like selling off your flesh and blood until you're just bones, ending up with nothing. All you get is resentment and a barren life. During discussion time, I'm explaining a problem surrounded by my little fans. To keep up with this, I quietly study late every night. Discipline keeps me composed. Lily, this question mentions the author's tone includes sarcasm, but I don't see it, someone asked. I quickly glanced at the question. Years of maneuvering through a tough life have made me a pro in language arts. I'm all about emotions, and my writing's pretty flourishing. Reading and interpreting texts come easy. The class president tapped my desk. Lily, your mom's here. She's in the head teacher's office. It doesn't look good. You should go over. I was taken aback. Couldn't think of anything I did at the new school that would need my parents called in. Didn't beat up any rumor spreaders or fight siblings. Truly a model student here. The class is united and positive. Every day, all I think about is study, and I barely want to leave school. So why is the teacher calling my mom? I quickly ran over. My mom's never been called over. Gotta be shocked. Seeing my aunt there, my heart just sank. I corrected quickly and turned to the teacher. Teacher, she's not my mom, she's my aunt. The teacher looked puzzled. Teacher, don't listen to her nonsense. I am her biological mother. I calmly corrected, she's the one who gave birth to me, but not the mother on my household registration. Officially, she's my aunt. I pulled out a copy of the household registration from my phone case and showed it to the teacher and nearby staff. After showing it, I carefully put it away, then politely greeted her again. Did you forget? On registration day, you stopped our car, and I had a pleasant chat with my mom and you. I unlocked my phone, showing a family photo from that time. Here's the family photo I showed you back then. You see me, my mom, and my dad. Such a harmonious family. Her face turned a bit green, but I acted like I didn't notice, vividly helping her recall the scene. Your daughter Zoe was right behind you at the time, and I politely pointed that out. The gossiping eyes around made her face darken. With a strained voice, she said, Enough with the trouble. I'm the one who gave birth to you, and you're embarrassing yourself. I smiled, keeping my polite tone. Auntie, actually, you should stop. This is embarrassing. Trying to hold back her anger, she continued, Lily, I genuinely want to take you home. I held my smile, unfazed. Then I changed my tone. Auntie, can I ask you something? Do you think being a birth mother is more important? Or is raising a child more important? Please answer carefully. She tidied her hair, adjusting her posture. Birth is more important, or is raising a child more important? Please answer carefully. She tidied her hair, adjusting her posture. Birth is more important. I nodded. If birth is more important, I should go with you. Then Zoe should return to the Zhao family quickly. She switched her answer. Raising is more important again. I nodded, understanding her shift. If raising is greater, you haven't raised me a day. My adoptive parents, uncle, and aunt raised me, so we aren't really connected. Trying to regain dignity, she attempted to backtrack. By then, most of the teachers were in class, leaving just a few gossipers who were shooed away by the head teacher. And so, I stopped beating around the bush. Some folks just can't understand subtle hints. I interrupted directly. Auntie, you don't really need to answer that question. Life's gotta be fair, you can't have it all. To you, whatever benefits you is what you'll go for. If you don't want to give up your adopted daughter, you'll say raising is the best. But if you want to force me to acknowledge you, obey, and let you control me, then you'll say giving birth is everything. My aunt was anxiously trying to explain. That's not what I meant. I reached out and quickly clamped my hand over her mouth. I didn't want to hear her out. I just wanted to speak my piece. I hoped she'd leave after hearing me go. Focus on your own 2 kids. Honestly, to me, real or fake heirs are like competing bugs fighting for resources. Whoever survives could have it. I just want to live my life. You want to keep your adopted daughter close and still have me listen to you, not disrupt the family balance. You expect me to be obedient, humble enough to beg for love that should have been mine all along. All I'm saying is, that's not gonna happen. I was polite enough not to start cursing, hoping she could feel my civility. Right on. Mom walked in applauding, eyes gleaming with joy. My heart bloomed as she entered. Mom, even my voice carried a happy wave. Mom was quick, and I adored her for that. It had only been 20 minutes since I messaged her, and she was here. She must have rushed from work. Lily, my baby, seeing me and Mom together, Aunt's face went pale. From the second household, Lily is my child now. The patriarch agreed. You agreed to at the last family meeting. Now you're at Lily's school, acting like her mom. What's your angle? Mom looked determined, and I felt stars in my eyes. Yep, she was fine with me inheriting everything from Uncle before. And now she wants to see me? That kind of motherly love doesn't work. Her moods change faster than bread goes stale. Sis, I just wanted Lily. I gave birth to her. For so many years, I never really got to be with her. Back then, I was just afraid she'd bully Zoe. You know what she used to do at her adoptive parents' place? I'm her mom. How could I not love her? Aunt sounded pitiful as she shed tears, but I wasn't moved at all. Aunt continued to moan pitifully. I raised Zoe all these years. I watched her grow up bit by bit. She gestured about how small Zoe used to be. When Zoe got sick, I stayed up all night watching over her day and night. She was weak, had high fevers every season change, allergic to so many things. Lily insists, I send Zoe back. How could I? She's a child I carefully raised. Getting switched was Lily's fate. What's that got to do with Zoe? I worked so hard for Zoe. Why should I give her back? It's like cutting off a piece of me. Aunt poured out her motherly love for Zoe. But that had nothing to do with me. What a drama for someone I can't stand. I looked at her coldly, thoughts spinning. If switching at birth was my fate, then her own daughter not acknowledging her was her fate. Sis, you watched Zoe grow. When you couldn't have kids, you saw her as your own. You should understand my maternal heart. Hearing this, Mom hugged me tighter. When you couldn't have kids, you saw her as your own. You should understand my maternal heart. Hearing this, Mom hugged me tighter. I couldn't care less that Aunt was trying to provoke me about her motherly love for Zoe again. It turns out Mom couldn't have her own kids. If she did, she'd love them dearly. Both Mom and Dad were such great parents. Mom firmly shut down Aunt's logic. That's no excuse. You've been biased from the start. I ask you, you watch Zoe grow, and you can't let go. if Zoe were a child from your husband's affair, could you let her go? I listened to Mom's clever reasoning with wide eyes. When dealing with unreasonable people, you don't have to be reasonable, Aunt retorted. That's a different story. Can't compare the two. Sis, you haven't been a mom. You don't know how it feels. If you were a mother, you'd understand my deep motherly love. Too bad you can't. Her eyes went meaningfully to Mom's belly. I pulled Mom behind me right away. Then Aunt accused, Sis, if you can't have your own kids, you can adopt. You can't just take someone else's child. Lily is my blood, and that bond can't be cut in this lifetime. I sensed Mom's rage and sorrow. Aunt was stabbing her right in the heart. I smiled at Aunt and then launched my counterattack. Holding Mom's cold hand, I sweet-talked. Mom, I'm your little darling. Let's leave. Don't bother with Aunt anymore. She's out of line when she can't win an argument. Holding Mom's hand, we turned to leave. I didn't know how to make Aunt feel what I felt, but seeing her own daughter call someone else mom must be horrible. Just like watching her dote on another daughter and treat me like an enemy, Mom's face softened, and she gently caressed my cheek. Yeah, let's go. Your dad's back from his business trip today, and he booked that restaurant you like for dinner. As for Aunt, she was just an outsider. Just as we stepped out of the office, there was a thud. Startled, I turned to the noise. Aunt had fainted. Dinner plans were canceled as the ambulance blared onto campus. Standing amidst the gathering crowd, I vaguely heard rumors saying I made my alleged birth mom faint in the office. There went my good reputation. We sat idly by Aunt's hospital bed with Mom. Zoe and Chase soon arrived, so I figured I could finally leave. Mom, let's go. Dad's already landed. I tugged at Mom's sleeve. Just as we were stepping out of the hospital room, Aunt's faint voice cried out, Lily? Sick Zug? I'm so frustrated. Just missed it by a minute. If she had just woken up a minute later. Lily! It's like calling a soul back. She just wouldn't stop. Could you all leave? I want some time alone with Lily. She glanced at Emily pleadingly. Auntie, please cut me some slack because I'm sick. Lucy tried to calm Emily with a smile. Emily, we'll just chat for a bit, then head home. Uncle's waiting for us. When the door closed, I caught a glimpse of Zoe's teary eyes. I dragged a chair over to the bedside, staring at her. Sophia, what do you want to talk about? Go ahead, she said softly, almost trying to win me over. Lily, could you call me Mom just once? I frowned. Sophia, please be respectful and don't make unreasonable requests. I pretended to pull out the household registration booklet copy from my phone case. She quickly pressed my arm to stop me. That's the only wish your mom has. I firmly replied, no way. She couldn't help but cough a few times. Lily, I carried you for 10 months. Can't you call me Mom even once? I was really annoyed by her emotional tactics. You reap what you sow, Sophia. As an adult, don't throw a tantrum. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. Narrative, we never really spent time together there. There's no bond of affection. Even if there was, it disappeared the first day we met. Sophia started coughing violently at my words. How can you be so cold to your mom? She turned away, coughing badly, leaving blood on the handkerchief. There was a bit of blood at the corner of her mouth, too. I'd never seen anything like this, and it scared me into shouting for Mom. How can you be so cold to your mom? She turned away, coughing badly, leaving blood on the handkerchief. There was a bit of blood at the corner of her mouth, too. I'd never seen anything like this, and it scared me into shouting for Mom. Sophia smiled contently. Lily, you finally called me Mom. Feeling lost, I dashed to the door like a terrified groundhog, yelling, Mom! Emily was right there, and she hugged me. What's wrong? Don't be scared. Mom's here. I pointed frantically towards the room. Realizing something was wrong, Chase and Zoe rushed in. When I looked back, Zoe was already crying loudly, holding the blood-stained handkerchief. Sophia is sick with stomach cancer, they said. Her only wish now was for the family to reunite, meaning to move me off Uncle and Emily's registration and onto hers. Lily, Mom came to pick you up from school. Sophia nudged Emily aside, trying to take my backpack. I watched her waiting eagerly for me at the school gate, holding back what I wanted to say. After all, she's a patient. But I'm in high school and don't need someone to carry my backpack. I also don't need her to suddenly act all loving now. She never loved me, so why pretend? Love or lack of it is obvious. I can tell. Is she happy using me to get at Emily? Instead of focusing on getting better, she's causing drama. I moved in front of Emily protectively and looked at Sophia warily. What do you want this time? You agreed before for me to be on Uncle and Emily's registration, and now you've changed your mind? I really want to ask, why? Just because you gave birth to me, you get to dictate my life? If I were the one with stomach cancer, begging for your love, would you say you love me? Would you fulfill all my wishes, or just dismiss me as unreasonable? I won't hurt those who truly care for me. For someone who abandoned me. I pointed at Chase and Zoe by the car. Your kids are over there. I'm Emily's child. I didn't cause her illness. But my pain is tied to hers. If she didn't want to care, why have a child at all? Why not just adopt? After all, blood ties aren't crucial. 10 months of pregnancy isn't either. Interaction matters more. At first, she thought Zoe was me, but now she's Zoe and I'm Lily. Lily, don't be this way with your mom. Mom really regrets it. Would you forgive Mom? Sophia's eyes welled with tears, but I just couldn't feel her love. Maybe it was too shallow or hidden under other motives, like Uncle and Emily's property. Before I appeared, there was no clear heir to their estate. I think that even if I did what she wanted, she wouldn't treat me like she treats Zoe, because I walked away leaving her behind without hesitation. Watching me and Emily being close stirred her stubbornness. She's upset her biological child is close to someone else. She envies Emily, just like I envied Zoe that day. I took Emily's hand and walked away. That evening, Sophia was hospitalized. Jack called to yell at me, and when I hung up, he kept calling back from different numbers. He even called the home phone. Missing in action before, now he's here claiming I'm your dad, criticizing me freely, trying to use his title as leverage without even considering if he's fit for it. He even started insulting Emily for envying other women who could be mothers, saying Uncle is bewitched, choosing to stay a lifetime with a barren woman. Uncle was furious and the consequences were serious. He immediately cut Jack's project. Then, overnight, he found out that Sophia was faking her illness. I was shocked. She was pretending the whole time. The stomach cancer and coughing up blood were all fake. The private hospital doctor had been bribed to put on a show. There was no illness at all. It was all a scheme to deceive me. I couldn't even focus on homework. I ran to the living room in my pajamas. Emily and I sat on the couch while Uncle, after drinking a glass of water, laid out the whole story. I was amazed. Grandpa called and told me not to be scared. I wasn't scared. With Uncle and Emily here, I wasn't afraid of anything. I held my cheeks and marveled. Sophia really went big with this. Wasn't she afraid of being exposed? Uncle chuckled as he ruffled the bare ears on my pajama hood and said calmly, "Who would want to mess with a cancer patient? Even if it gets exposed, she can claim it was out of desperate love for her daughter and gain sympathy. She's panicking now. A lot of people are laughing at her behind her back. She's offended too many people. Now even her own daughter doesn't acknowledge her, and your grandparents call her foolish for driving her child away." I had met my grandparents. They were nice to me, but they also hinted I should reconcile. After a couple of meetings, I didn't want to see them anymore. The balance had already tipped, and their superficial fairness became favoritism. But who am I to compete with years of feelings? I chose not to get involved. I'd rather start fresh than deal with this half-baked situation. That's just who I am. Uncle took his time sipping tea. Emily hugged me and massaged my fingers sore from writing too much. What's the point of her doing all this? She made a choice, and then she starts causing a scene again. Uncle huffed. Second son is getting cocky now. It's good he stumbles so he won't keep thinking about inheriting everything when I'm gone. After that night, not sure if Grandpa's scolding worked or Uncle blocking Jack's project helped, but things finally quieted down around me. But life has its twists, and people have their ups and downs. Some words are better left unsaid. They might come true. Like Sophia actually getting sick? Uncle checked it out. This time it was real. She needed a kidney transplant. Both families gathered at the hospital. The last time we all met like this was to discuss my registration. Sophia's kids sat by her bed. The best option now is matching. If we wait the fastest. Jack trailed off, looking at me. Chase and Zoe both expressed willingness to match and donate a kidney to Sophia. Sophia's hopeful gaze turned to me. No way she expected me to step up, right? I'm not even 18 yet. If it was Emily, I'd be the first in line. But Sophia, Emily stood in front of me, blocking Jack and Sophia's view. Uncle spoke up. Only Chase is 20. He meets the requirements, can match. Jack frowned, adding, Lily will be 18 soon. She should too. Emily immediately countered. Lily's just a kid, no need. Jack protested. Her own mom is sick, and she won't lift a finger. What was the point of carrying her for 10 months then? Uncle also stepped in. Lily is my daughter, and I say no. So what if she's biological? She hasn't been raised a day by them. It's me and Emily who've cared for her. Now you want to take a kidney because she's biological? No way. An argument quickly broke out. Grandpa's cane knocked repeatedly. Useless? The kidney was just the tipping point. Resentment between the families ran deep. It started when Jack's family aimed to cut us off. By evening, the quarrel hadn't settled. During that time, Zoe volunteered. I want to match with Sophia, even though I'm not her biological daughter. In my heart, Sophia is my real mom. I'd do anything for her. Sophia hugged Zoe, touched Zoe. Sophia's a good daughter. I watched their mother-daughter act with cold detachment. After thinking it through, I chose to get tested for a match. Uncle and Emily reacted fiercely, almost ready to pack me up and leave overnight. Dad scolded me. Got water in your brain? Shake it. I can hear it sloshing around. Mom hugged me tightly. You're so young. No need to carry this burden. Whatever happens, Dad and Mom are here. I reassured them. I might not even be a match. I just don't want to owe them anything. I want to be your daughter without any strings attached. Dad sighed. Why do you care for something like birth obligation? You really think giving a kidney will cut it clean? He kept poking my head. Poor me. I didn't dare move. I already made the decision. I want to sever ties completely, like in the legend of Neza, returning bones to parents. I don't want to owe her anything. I want to be a complete daughter to my parents, no debts. From now on, I can stand confidently in front of them, telling them to keep away from my family. I, Lily, owe them nothing. That night, Mom tucked me in as usual, making sure the blanket was snug. I cautiously asked, Mom, are you still mad at me? Mom sighed, planting a kiss on my cheek. Lily, I support every decision you make. Mom will always protect you. Remember how I mentioned the head office is moving to City S? Once this is over, we'll leave. Our family will head to City S. All you need to do is grow up well, and we'll handle everything else. I continued acing my school tests, consistently taking the top spot in the class. Going to the third high was the best decision I'd ever made. My classmates are all great. Amidst the joy, my eyelid kept twitching, leaving me with the uneasy feeling that something bad was about to happen. 8, I've been thinking a lot. Maybe my kidneys are in trouble. I touched them, one on each side. They're still there, but which one would I donate, left or right? Before I could decide, the hospital results came out. The whole family was gathered again. Grandpa made the call. The kid's still young. Doesn't matter if there's a match or not, she can't donate. Uncle was about to say something but kept quiet. He'd already made up his mind. Auntie's illness might not wait for a kidney. It felt like a sword was hanging over my head, waiting for the doctor's final word. Chase, not a match. My uncle and aunt let out a quiet sigh of relief. Soon the next report came in. Zoe, it's a match. Zoe smiled big, holding Auntie's hand tight. Mom, I can give you a kidney. Auntie's smile was faint, forcing a little happiness, patting Zoe's hand. The doctor slowly pulled out the last report. Dad and Mom stood behind me. My heart pounded like a drum, and I couldn't help but feel a bit scared. Auntie leaned in, eager to see the report. Lily? The doctor's words were like a hammer dropping, hitting everyone. Not a match. Under extreme tension, I glanced around the room, memorizing everyone's expression. Some were happy, some worried. Zoe secretly breathed a sigh of relief. A tiny smile flashed across her face. Nobody could challenge her now. With this kidney, no one could push her away anymore. Auntie quickly scanned through the report, and Uncle looked down at it too. Grandpa shook his head, his cane thudded on the ground. He looked at Dad meaningfully. Dad was calm, tapping my head playfully. Mom hugged me tight. I was sweating cold. When the doctor mentioned my name, I realized my true feelings. I didn't want to. Even if I was a match, I didn't want to donate. I don't want to give. Blood ties can't be changed, but why should I donate? Why did I think I had to? Luckily, I wasn't a match. Mom's voice trembled a bit as she brought up last time's plan again. Lily, how about we move to City S? It'll be just our family. I nodded, hugging Mom, still shaken. A corner of my heart where cobwebs gathered suddenly cracked open. A beam of light shone through. The shackles I'd bound myself with slowly melted under the sunlight. Coming to terms, I'm Lily, and I owe them nothing. No need to repay. From now on, nothing here involves me. I'll go to City S with Mom and Dad. There will be no Lily's family, no auntie, uncle, Chase, or Zoe. Everything will be brand new, and I can set sail again. Embrace a whole new, unknown, and colorful life with my mom and dad. Lily's test actually matched. I changed the result. The name was Lily, but the actual blood types and such belonged to someone else. The kid's been through too much. She rarely talks about the past, always saying she stands up to bullies. But anyone with a brain can see how much she's been through to end up like this. That's why she's built walls and defenses so young. She's always on guard, not letting anyone hurt her. But genuine kindness can easily move her. Thankfully, she's now Auntie's daughter. We'll take care of her bit by bit. My little brother has always been foolish. Was dumb when he was a kid and somehow even dumber now. I can't be bothered with him, but I never thought he'd actually plot to take one of Lily's kidneys. Lily's too naive. She thinks she can repay her birth debt and end the connection. But without raising, what's the point of birth? She can't decide, so I'll decide for her. Unlike Neja, who severed his own flesh to repay a debt and was still crushed by his father's tower, my daughter doesn't need to be tied down by blood. Auntie was a step behind. She loves Lily so much, there's no way she'd let Lily get hurt. They share a destined connection. From the moment we met, I knew we were a family. Lily, even though she came at a rough time, when she leaves, her world will be blooming with spring. In this life, I wish my daughter Lily endless spring breezes and never a worry.